What's up, guys? Welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about breeding fish, the secrets to breeding, and how you can make money off of breeding fish with just a 10-gallon tank. Stay tuned. Hope you guys learned something today. What we're going to start with today is the first subject. The first subject that we're going to talk about is money.
Money, yeah. Money, money, what? Money, yeah. Money,
And the reason why I want to talk about money with you guys is because a lot of people think having a bunch of fish tanks and having a cool fish room and all these different types of fish is what makes money. That is far from it, guys. You do not make money easily just by having a bunch of equipment for fish. That's not how it works. You know, my biggest thing is, for square number one, do not spend all of your money. Guys, that is subject number one we're going to talk about. A lot of people go out there, they buy all this fish equipment, all these different things, you know what I mean? They get the heaters, they get the sponge filters, they get all these different types of tanks, they get these tank racks. You know, they spend thousands and thousands of dollars on fish equipment, not knowing if it's going to be successful or even if what they're breeding is going to sell in their area. Now, there's two different guys here. There's the guy who loves the hobby and does it for fun. There's the guy who does it for money, strictly for profit. Now me, I'm personally the guy who does it for fun but wants to make profit. So I essentially spend more money than I make at the end of the day. I'm still at that point where I'm not making ends meet yet. So I just do it for the hell of it. I enjoy it. It's plenty of fun. But back to what I was saying is those two guys. Now, if you guys are here to make money and breed these fish to actually make money out of it, you're not the guy that wants to spend all of that money and waste money. You know, that's going to be the hardest part for you guys, is trying to figure out where to start and what to start. And I can't particularly tell you guys what to start with or where to start, because it's all based off of your community and what's in demand for your community. You guys have to look at this as a business point and stance. If you guys want to make money, you have to look at it as a business depend. Supply and demand is what you guys want to find. Supply and demand is basically simple. Somebody wants it and you have it, and it's that simple. And you want to find something in your community that's not overcommon. You don't want something that everybody has, everybody's selling, you know, because then it's too often. It's going to get played out. It's not going to last long. You want to find something that people are always wanting, always in need of, and you can get rid of fast. So if anything ever does happen, you guys can sell those fish to a wholesaler, or you can, you know, figure out somewhere for your fish to be relocated as you pursue your project. You are not always going to be able to sell all your fish guaranteed how you want them and at the price you guys want them. It's not possible. It just doesn't work like that. No business works like that. It's just not how it goes. You know, there's always somebody at the top of the total pole and somebody at the bottom. But at the end of the day, no matter what, there's always somebody above you that you're going to have to be under to reach out for that hand and get that help and that guidance, or, you know, that little bit of wealth per se. But do not go spend all of your guys' money. You guys will waste a lot of money doing it that way. The biggest trick of this game, guys, is time. When you guys take your time, you know, my shirt a little wrinkled, but when you guys take your time, that is when you guys will produce and see the best results. That is the only way that you guys will get the best results for your fish and for your business that you are trying to pursue. It does take time to raise these fish though. It takes a lot of time. It takes up to 6 months sometimes, you know what I mean? Depending on your water parameters and how you're feeding and how you're caring for your fish, but it takes the initial part time. It takes time, guys. If you guys are impatient, this is not the hobby for you or the business to try to pursue. You are not gonna start with 2 fish and tomorrow end up with 2,000 fish to sell. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen in 2 weeks. It's not gonna happen in a month. Guys, it takes a lot of time to raise fish. You know, if it's something that you wish to do and you feel accomplished doing, then you're sitting like me where I'm at and you like to do it. So you have to have some type of like to the hobby, I guess, to do this. You know what I mean? It's not easy. It is a lot of work. So that is one of the biggest things is time. Take your guys' time. I can't stress that enough. You know what I mean? So next is how you can make $1,000 with just a 10 or 20 gallon tank. Guys, I'm not kidding when I say this. You can literally make $1,000 with just a 10 or 20 gallon tank. It's so easy, but it takes time. Time is your biggest thing here. Time. It is going to take a lot of time no matter what you do in this hobby if you are trying to make money. It is not going to start overnight, guys. But like I said, your first $1,000, you can literally get a 10 gallon tank and just start like that, per se. Like, for instance, you get a 10 gallon tank and you get a hardy fish that always sells, which this fish sells everywhere. No matter where you are, you can get guppies. You know what I mean? So guppies. You get some guppies. You get about 10 of them. I'd say like 3 males, the rest females, and you put them in your 10 gallon. So they finally get old enough and they're starting to produce. So now you're starting to produce guppies. And I would raise those up first. I wouldn't go to anything different or new, trying to breed other stuff until you get that one down packed. You know what I mean? And the only reason I say that is because from my experience, when I started off with my first tank, you know, I was really excited. You know, I got really in. I dived completely in. I went full on crazy about the hobby, guys. I love this hobby. So when I got my first 10 gallon tank, I put the guppies in there and then I went and bought plants. So yeah, I spent a lot of money and wasted a lot of time just spending money on plants. Let it go! When I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, you know, it provided a lot of shelter and it made my guppies more comfortable, but I wasted a lot of time and a lot of investments on plants when I should have just waited and been patient and maybe every so often added a guppy here and there, you know, a female guppy to increase my production. But I didn't do that, and I really am regretful for that because, you know, I wasted a lot of money spending time buying those plants, and then I tried many different plants. You know, a lot of them died. You know, I was still a beginner, I was still a newbie, and I didn't understand what I was doing and what kind of water parameters each plant needed and how sensitive some plants are. You know, I was just getting what I thought was cool. I didn't look into it or do any research like I should have. You know what I mean? So that is something I did regret, because all of those plants, you know, just about are gone, and I wasted that money for nothing. You know, and another big reason why I tell you guys to wait is because you still don't know if that's what you want to do, and if you guys can sell them, I'll tell you guys right now, it's very unencouraging when you get a bunch of plants and a bunch of fish and you raise them up and you can't find anybody to buy them and you don't know where to sell them or how to sell them. You know what I mean? And that is one of the problems I ran into after I started breeding, after I went through all these different downfalls. And it really sucks, guys. It really does suck. I had only one tank at the time, but just imagine if you just bought a whole fish room or 5, 6, 7 different tanks and spent, $2,000-$3,000 and couldn't sell your fish now. And now you have a room full of fish and you spent all this money thinking you're going to make money off of something and you didn't make anything. So that's why I say, for the biggest part, take your time. You know what I mean? Make sure you figure all these little things out while you're at a small scale instead of rushing to a big scale. You know what I mean? So another thing that I was trying with my 10-gallon tank was shrimp. I looked into it, and breeding for profit was one of the biggest things I looked up. That was the number one thing I typed in, was breeding for profit. What can I breed and what can I breed fast? You know what I mean? YouTube is my best friend. I look up everything on YouTube. So that is one of the biggest things I looked up when I started this hobby. And shrimp, red cherry shrimp, or any of the neon shrimp in general are very hard shrimp and easy to breed. So I tried doing that, and of course I failed, not knowing what I was doing. I didn't add calcium to my water. I wasn't aware of needing calcium, so that is something else I messed up on, and I really am regretful for it. I wasted a lot of time. So yeah, once you guys get to that point in the stance and you guys have one strand, you've got it locked down, you figured out what you got, and you know what you want, it's finally selling, you're getting some sales on it, and your production is showing nice. The next step is to figure out your prices. Now, the reason why I say this, guys, is because you can make a couple sales, make some money, think it's all going good, but at the end of the day, you have to find out what the stores are selling those fish for, what the wholesalers are selling their fish for, and find a happy point in between that, where you're not trying to sell the store's prices, because you're not going to be able to sell them for the store's prices. That's a store. It's completely different. People walk in and out. It's a convenient area. It's publicity. You know what I mean? It's showcase. It's put out there for people to go back and forth to. Yours is a business that's not known. It's not out there. And it's not what people are going to think of when they think, oh, I want to go get some fish. They're not going to think, oh, let's go over to Devontae's fish room real quick and get some fish. They're not going to think that. It's just not how it's going to happen. So you have to, do different things and advertise your fish certain ways to catch the eye, to bring attention to yourself and your fish, as well as fish quality and how your fish look and how they present. But how you advertise online, if you're selling them online, how you advertise to your local pet stores, if you're selling them to local pet stores, however you're getting rid of these fish, through your local communities, whatever your way is your advertisement and how you carry your business. Because, if you give one guy some ugly fish and he says something to you and you're like, whatever, bro, and you pay no attention to him and you don't give him good customer service, he's gonna go to the next guy and maybe his friend's like, man, I want some fish, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the first thing that's gonna come out of his mouth is, man, I bought some fish from Devontae over there at the fish hobby, and they were ugly, they were horrible, they didn't look good, they had a lot of disformities. And then on top of that, when I tried to confront him about it, he didn't want to refund me or help with the situation. that's the last thing you want to hear, because now that's a customer that you just lost, you know. And for a small business, that one customer is a big deal, you know. That's potentially $20 that you just lost, which is a lot, you know, when you have nothing, when you're starting from nothing. So the way you carry your business, your prices, all of that is gonna matter at the end of the day. Make sure that you guys find a happy ends meet where you can survive off of that salary to take care of your fish and keep that thriving, as well as not so cheap where they're selling fast and you're outselling yourself. You know, that is one thing that you want to make sure you don't do. After you guys get all of that figured out and you got a buyer, you got your prices down, you have a good colony of fish going, you know, in that 10 gallon, the next thing to do is to go to something next. Now, me personally, if you're gonna go try something next, you might want to do a complimentary item. Now, a complimentary item is something that goes with that item. So for fish in a fish hobby world, something that is gonna go inside of that tank and is gonna get along with the fish, the invertebrates, or the plants you are growing or raising already. So, like if you have guppies in your 10-gallon tank, that is the best time to invest in some shrimp. You know what I mean? Because shrimp and guppies get along perfect. You know, you're not going to have a high rate of deaths. You're not going to have a high rate of survival, neither though. But they'll coexist where you'll have a consistent growing rate. You know, now if you're trying to do strictly profit, if it was me, I would invest into another tank. You know, another $12 for another 10-gallon tank, get a sponge filter. And with shrimp, you don't need the heater. So, you know, that's another thing you don't have to pay for. You know, you still have to take in accounting of your electricity and your water that you're spending to care for those fish. But approximately, it's not going to cost you much. It's going to cost you maybe $20 a month, if that. You know, it's not going to cost you a lot to take care of these fish or invertebrates or plants. That is going to be the easiest part. So, you know, you get some shrimp and, you know, you put them in, let's say, the same tank as the guppies, and you realize that the guppies are just, you know, eating them off. Every time the shrimp have babies, they're eating them off. So this is a chance to get another complimentary item. You know, that's when you can get, like, I would say, a plant now. So, you know, you still have the bare tank. It's full of guppies. You just added some shrimp. Your shrimp just had babies and they just got slaughtered. The guppies killed them. So I would add some driftwood. I'd add some different things for the shrimp to hide. You know, some inhabitants. I would add some Java moss, you know, another complimentary item that will grow. You know, that Java moss is another great one. And pet stores cannot keep enough Java moss, guys. If you guys want to make some money in this hobby, Java moss is a great way to start, because you could literally put Java moss in a bowl and it'll grow. You don't need special light, you don't need any special water, and you don't need any special heat or filtration. It'll grow. If you wanted to, you could literally start with that to make your first $1,000. You know what I mean? It's really easy. And I would go with that, let that grow up. Say you got that going, and your Java moss is growing, your shrimp are finally, you know, able to grow all the way, and the guppies aren't taking them out. They have plenty of places of hiding. So, you know, you're making a lot of extra profit at this point in stance. So what would you go with next? I would say go with another tank and separate your fish, you know, put your guppies in one tank and your shrimp in another. So then you have less death rates. The less death rates you take out of the situation or the scenario, the better it is for you, because that's the less deaths that you'll have and the more money you'll have in your pocket for the live fish that you were selling. So knocking out death rates is another great way of increasing your profit and getting there to the top. You know, I would stick with that for a while and see how that goes. And you know, guys, it's honestly really hard. It's not easy. It's not simple. You know, I've been doing it for about 3 years now, and I still have not got to the point where I wanted. I've learned a lot of stuff. You know, I've still make a lot of mistakes every time I get a different species, but it's a learning in progress. You know, you win some, you lose some. You know, if it's something you enjoy, you just keep tackling it. Stay with the groove. Try your best you can. You know, give me comments, ask questions, whatever. I'm always here if you guys need me. And let me know what you guys think. Please like, subscribe, you know, leave some comments. I would really like some feedback. I have no feedback. You know, I would really love to know what you guys think about my videos and what I'm talking about, and if it's helping you guys learn anything. Thank you. Stay up, guys.